Welcome to the Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast, your home for all things football at Waldorf University, the best small college football experience in America. Hosted by Andy Buffington and me, Troy Thompson, from the secret gridiron bunker beneath Volsdorf Field. Now, let's meet the captains of today's podcast.
Welcome to this edition of the Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast. We're down to, or actually up, sorry, Troy. We're up to season 2, episode 6.
That's right.
So yeah, we're killing it. We're having a lot of fun. We talked to all the coaches. We started off by having a player out here. Tay Buchanan opened up this season. Then we brought in, Paramore, Chapa, Aune, and Gould. And so we're going away from our theme, sort of. Mm-hmm. No more coaches. Hopefully, here in the next few weeks, we'll be able to, if there's some new coaches out there, we'll bring them in.
Yeah.
Get to know them, find out what kind of deals they made to come up to Forest City, Iowa and coach Waldorf Warrior football. So with that, our very, very special guest on this episode of the podcast is, we've heard of him before from Coach Aune.
We've been warned.
We have been.
Mm-hmm.
So the man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah.
Liam Stone.
Wow. I could do that. Yeah. No.
It didn't work.
It didn't work. That's all you get. That's all you get right there.
Yeah.
That button. That's right.
So Liam, you nervous?
I guess I'm a little worried for stuttering or something like that.
Oh, you don't have to worry
Jeez,
about
don't
that.
worry about that.
Yeah, you're in good shape, and you can adjust that microphone to wherever you want it to be, and probably do it quite a bit. The head coach certainly did when he came on the first time.
Coach, yeah.
He had a lot of
He was good
adjustments
at it.
he was making on the microphone, and
Yeah, he was good at it.
yeah.
So Liam, you're a LaPorte City kid.
Yep.
Played at Union.
LaPorte.
You guys had a lot of success back in your high school days, didn't you?
That is, yeah. We had, I think, 11 straight seasons going to the playoffs. Early 2000s all the way to 2018 was our last
Wow.
playoff appearance.
Okay.
And my senior year, that's when that streak ended.
Okay.
And Coach Hadcheck, he left. I love that man to death. Great leader.
Yep.
Great leader. He taught the kids very well.
Yep.
A lot of
So
life.
what's the name of the new head coach? Pospisil. Okay. Yeah, I was trying to get that down.
What's the mascot for LaPorte? Union
Knights.
The Knights.
What? The Knights.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you said it so fast. I thought it was a new word that I hadn't heard of called Unionites, as if it was a
It was like a labor union.
yeah.
Exactly.
Unionites. We're a member of the
Yeah,
union.
we're the IBEW
Nice.
434.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just south of southeast of Waterloo.
Yep.
Mhm.
15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Yep.
around there,
Yep.
Yeah, I've
So
been
you hung out
through
in
there.
Waterloo, Cedar Falls area.
Yeah. I used to work in Cedar Falls,
Where did you work?
Western Home. I was a lot of prep, and then we transfer all that prep food
Oh,
the
okay.
following day to the nursing home.
All right.
Oh.
We would cook for those old folks there.
Okay.
Not really. A lot of soft food.
Yeah. Usually.
Yeah.
Throw the chicken in the blender.
Was it good? Did you ever try it?
They our chefs there. They really cared about what they were prepping.
Sure.
Nice.
They have to.
They really exquisite sauces with
Oh, really?
some protein,
Nice.
and you probably would never ever see that at any other nursing home ever.
All right.
Like this nursing home was top notch.
Very good.
Well, what's the name of that nursing home? I'm gonna have to stop by.
That is Western Home. I think
Western Home.
once you hit 65, you can live there on campus in a house.
nice.
Floor plan is very flat, no base or no stairs, so everything is very
Makes
flat,
sense.
so people don't fall down.
Nice.
So,
Yep.
How did
So-
you come up with that? Like, it was how'd you get into that job?
my brother worked
Oh.
there, and he pretty much referred me, and
Okay.
they pretty much hired me on the spot.
Nice.
Family business.
Yep.
That's pretty good. I like that. And the other thing is they have, and I don't know, did you know that, Andy, in Waterloo, they have a lot of water skiing shows. Did you know
Yeah.
that?
That's close to LaPorte City, isn't it?
Yeah. I thought, were you a water skiing? Were you in the water? By your look,
No.
I would say
So
no.
when you're going
saying
on
you're not water skiing?
I'm too pale to be going outside.
So, because on the Avenue of the Saints, after you've left Waterloo,
Yeah, that's right.
It's on the south side of the road there. There's that big pond, and they had water skiing shows. Maybe they don't anymore. I couldn't tell you.
I feel like they do probably. I've never seen one though, but I thought that was interesting. I thought you might have caught that in your
I
childhood.
probably went fishing on that lake
That's
a couple
probably
times
right.
with my grandfather, but
Yeah.
that was like old memories. That was a lifetime ago.
Oh, there we go.
How old are you?
Yeah.
I
what
am
do you
21.
Think? Okay.
21 years old,
Oh,
and
all
it's
right.
a lifetime ago.
A lifetime.
So let's see, 21 years ago. Yep, still in the job that I'm in now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was
Oh,
like,
congratulations.
yeah, well, I was
Like a work anniversary for
was-
you.
well, actually, 5 days ago was 25 years with the company.
How about that?
Yeah,
Not
absolutely.
too bad.
Good times.
Congratulations.
Good time.
Dedication.
What are you
Oh.
studying? You're going to have a job someday for a long time.
My major is HPE, Health Promotion and Exercise Science.
Okay.
I can do a variety of things with that. I could probably be like a nurse, like my mom, or maybe more, maybe occupational therapy or
Yep.
athletic therapy,
Okay.
or maybe get a doctorate and do something more
Yeah.
pronounced.
Well, and you know
Nice.
what? It's one of those that, and we haven't broached the topic yet, but dude's got quite the melon in there.
Yeah.
NSAA, like
Yeah.
he was an honor student for the North Star, as far as athletes, academic achievement.
Yeah, the NSAA Scholar Athletes 2022
That's
for
right.
this just came out of Bismarck, the press release for football. Our own Liam Stone, actually quite a few of our not all of them though. I'll tell you that.
But Dean's List guy.
Yep, I did get an email about the dean's list.
Yeah. And then you also did that because we haven't talked about it yet, but after high school, you went to Ellsworth Community College.
Yep.
And played football there. And because you came up here a semester early. I remember that.
Yeah, spring
semester.
22.
Sure.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd been about a year ago. So yeah, you came up here early, so you didn't, I'm sure you probably graduated with your GPA and everything like that from Ellsworth.
I left a little too soon.
Which is no big deal because it
left-
all
yeah.
transferred over, right?
Yeah.
Good.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. So, here you are. And it's like, so if you want to get your doctorate or go be a actual MD or something like that, or a DO, you could probably do that with the brains you got going on.
Hopefully. It's
Yeah.
going to be a lot of work.
Well, sure it is, but if that's what you want to do and that's what you love, my God, do
And
it.
a lot of college debt too.
Well, there is that.
And there's nothing guaranteed out in
Right.
the occupational force.
No, that is very, very true.
Now down in Ellsworth, to jump back to that spot there, that's in Iowa Falls. So you spent a little bit of time there.
Yep.
And their football building is a small little building, kind of almost in the middle of campus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their football office. That's where the locker room is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
You guys come out the back there. The
out the back
coaches are in the
door.
front. Mm-hmm.
go out the back door. We had a practice season where we would actually walk to the field, but since that's kind of like not really advantageous or very efficient, they actually decided to have people just carpool people all around. So
Because where's the field? The field
the
is
field is like, so the highway there is 20, right?
that's 65. Oh,
65
the highway.
north and south.
Yeah.
and Highway
And
20.
it breaks off to another,
Yeah.
because the exit there, and then it breaks off to another highway, and then you literally follow that all the way to the football field.
All right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Highway 20 does on the south. Yeah.
Sure. Haven't
Wow.
spent much time in Iowa Falls.
Oh, I've spent some great times in Iowa Falls.
Admiring the falls.
Yeah, there's that little river there, or that little ravine.
Very pretty.
Yeah.
Very nice. I envy those people with the lodges right there. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's probably the nicest view you could have.
I think so. Yeah, and that's a really we talked about that.
You've been to Canada.
Well, there's
That's
that.
beautiful.
I mean,
I haven't been to Canada.
yeah, I mean, you got to put it in perspective. I mean,
okay. For Iowa Falls, Iowa, it's
yeah,
beautiful.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, in Iowa Falls, clearly that is the best view in that spot. We're not talking about like Alaska.
Yeah, Nolan talked about it, the falls.
That's right.
Yeah.
We talked about the little sump pump or whatever. I thought,
Yeah, that was.
Nolan Frowen, he's from there.
He's from
Yeah,
there. Yeah,
He's a cadet.
yeah.
Yeah, he is not the class treasurer. We found out.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. He also was not the what did I say?
Mezzo-soprano?
Mezzo-soprano, a leading singer in the choir. We were way off on our research. That's why we don't do research anymore, Liam. I'll tell you that. We're not very good at it.
No.
I think I saw the Ellsworth baseball team up here one time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were scrimmaging our baseball team.
Did you know anybody from the?
I never really talked to anybody at Ellsworth. I just I don't know. a lot of those guys, they seem to be more concerned about themselves than actually being a team.
Is that right?
Moving on to the D1.
Nice.
Yeah, they're more concerned about moving on to D1 than
Well, I
actually being-
suppose, and there's a lot of kids that they'll go to a JUCO, and that's the reason they had to go to JUCOs, because they didn't have the grades or whatever, and they want to go to D1. And obviously we're thrilled to have you here. So who recruited you?
Yeah.
Out of
multitude of coaches. Coach K, Coach Fott saw me. I can't remember, the offensive line coach was there, but when I got there, he left.
yeah.
And then Coach Lumberg was there for a very brief time. He moved on to Gustavus
Gustavus Adolphus.
Okay.
That's where Coach K was from. Then Coach K took over offense after Lumberg left, and then Coach Chai, he went to another JUCO, I think, or another job somewhere else, and then we got stuck with Coach K that last final season I was there with Ellsworth.
Yeah. How'd you guys do on the field?
So the time that I was there in the spring season of 2021, we went 2-6, and then I think we had maybe like 2 extra games in the fall
Right.
of 2021, and we went 2-6 again.
Okay.
And we weren't playing like the guys that we usually play, like the Kansas guys, or we were playing like dudes in Colorado, Arkansas,
Yeah.
Oklahoma.
Yep.
Why was that? Just a different? Did you jump conferences or something?
No,
Because Ellsworth was on, I think, the second season of like Last Chance U or something like that. Maybe the first season. I don't know.
Those are the teams that usually play.
Oh, okay.
But for whatever reason, we actually, Tay Harper, we played Tay Harper at down in Arkansas, Arkansas Baptist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That was a close game. Obviously, we couldn't really pull it out. They literally on the last play, they had the ball and they threw it up and got a touchdown.
Did Vontae catch the ball?
I think that was Devontae Harper. That
really?
Yeah.
Man.
Well, now we're all gathered together here at
Yep.
the campus of Waldorf University. And then how'd you get pulled up here then? Who brought you up here from?
I think the first few visits, Coach Chop was there, and then the old line coach.
Oh, Kevin Rorick.
Yeah, Rorick. Oh,
he's the offensive coordinator at Tabor College now.
Okay, see, that'll be
Blue Jay.
Yep.
So Rourke and Chop was there, come to watch us lift one time.
Yep.
Then, as soon as I was about to leave, and I came here spring of 2022, Coach Finley and Coach Chop came.
Nice.
Coach Chop came a second time.
Yep.
Coach Chop must really like me, so.
That's
I'm sure
right.
he does. He didn't mention you like Coach Aune did,
Yeah.
but I mean, I don't know. He is a defensive guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, with his long hair.
What's the? We've talked on this program quite a bit about linemen, and it's a different kind of. It's certainly a different job. It's a
Better
different
humans.
role. Believe it or not, Andy and I were linemen a long time ago, but we played small ball, in 2A. No, it wasn't that small.
no.
We were two. Actually,
didn't
might have
have
been
8-man.
might have been 3A back then. But back when you played, it was in a conference, so it doesn't matter.
We were either the
Yeah.
largest 2A in the state when I was in high school or the smallest 3A in the
right.
state. It just depended on enrollment in all the other schools.
And so we appreciate the linemen, and
Yeah.
we appreciate the character that goes with it, particularly offensive linemen, because you're just not getting any credit. There's not a stat that goes with
it's
it.
a thankless job, yeah.
Aune did a great job explaining on his episode that actually he said that we shouldn't host you, and just like we already talked about, that reminded me of when I went to Panama with 10th Mountain Division, and they said that we got one weekend off and we went to Panama City, and they told us all on the bus on the way down there. They said, "Now here's a map." Idiots gave us a map, and they said, "Here's
Don't
a
go
map.
here."
Here's the red zone. You cannot go into the red zone. That's off limits." So as soon as we got off the bus, they gave us maps. So we're like, and orient to the red zone we go, so and we're doing the exact opposite of what Coach Aune said, but he did speak highly of you and all of the linemen. Because it is a thankless job. Why do you want to do that?
Well, I'm big, and I'm not, usually you leave the skill work to the smaller fellas,
Yeah.
but when you're big, you kind of have to have sort of stoicism.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have to put your emotions aside because it's
Good word.
being thankless.
Yeah.
You kind of have to put the team on your shoulders sometimes.
And
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
and it's interesting because you say thankless, but it's one of those things that those skill guys, the guys that really understand the game and understand the sacrifice that you guys are making up in the trough, that
Yeah.
they come around, and I've seen it, and you've experienced it, where you'll get a guy like Jordan Cooper that has this phenomenal run that ends up going for a 60-yard touchdown. The first thing that he's doing, he's coming over to you guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
We talked about that in the episode with Aune as well, and just want to recap and just your thoughts on it. And that's like, if you have somebody like Jordan Cooper, who, because later in the season he was injured, and normally he likes to break away. So not only are you doing taking the grunt work in the game that you normally would, which is brutal, and then now when you've got a running quarterback who can't break away because the coaches are like, look, if you do that, you're going to get hurt even worse.
Oh yeah.
So now you have to make even bigger holes and provide more time. So you talk about carrying the team some a bit. I mean, that's what happened.
And I was very surprised with our skill groups too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I never, like our JUCO, we never see wide receivers block their asses off like you see like here.
Right.
Like they made a great incentive or a great, importance of doing that.
It matters.
Right. Yeah.
And it matters.
All hands on deck type situation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe that's was that present obviously before as much as it was afterwards, or as far as the skill guys doing more blocking when Jordan got injured? When
we no, it was just all the time.
All the time. I like that even better. So that's something that continues.
It was just like when we do our outside zone or our stretch plays, you'd see those guys having their hands on those DBs.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just very nice. But sometimes, they might get outside the frame and get that holding call, which is, but they're trying.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Well, and it's one of those, you didn't get his name called a lot, but David Warren. I mean, David Warren, he would come in there, line up at the slot, and that was his role.
Yeah.
And he was obviously very good at it, but it goes back to he's considered skill position as a tight end, but you don't get the limelight, if you will.
Right.
Because you're out there opening up holes for somebody else.
We had Zach Throne on the show.
Money.
I love Money Throne.
And
I thought it was grandpa.
He probably, but now he introduced a term called the soup. Can you give us the perspective of what that is?
The soup?
Yeah.
I have no clue.
You have no clue, so it was just a Throne thing? So he called it the soup, but it was when so like if an offensive lineman drives a defensive lineman to the ground, and then takes a while to get off of that person,
and he might put a certain area of his anatomy into the cage of the on the ground.
The soup. Okay.
Yeah,
soup.
Stir the soup a little bit.
Yep.
No, I don't think I ever did something like that.
No,
it might be a couple times where I want to do that, but
yeah. How do you keep from when you're trying not to hold, but there's a lot of business going on there on that line? How do you do that? How do you
holding people?
Yeah, or how do you do it?
Well, once I do it, when I do it, like on pass pros, when I get outside his framework, I let go right away, and I don't put up the hands like you see with a lot of O linemen.
I hate that.
That's like a dead indicator.
Yeah.
You did something wrong.
Wasn't me.
If you don't do that, I'm like 9 times out of 10, the refs won't even see it.
Right. So don't make it easy for them.
Yeah.
No. But there are tricks of the trade too, which are kind of fun. That you have to be able to manhandle somebody.
Yes, and there's some techniques out there. Like I know Green Bay Packers, they practice like the hug technique, where they literally like bring both arms in and they pretty much like hug them, kind of, and put their hands on their shoulder pads. And it's kind of outside the framework. But
is that just a Packers thing?
I think so.
Oh, really?
Maybe other alignment.
Are you a Packer fan? Is that why?
No,
not at all.
Well,
I don't hate them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I hate the Chiefs. Like them winning the Super Bowl was.
Oh, you hate the Chiefs?
I hate the Chiefs because I'm a Broncos fan.
Oh, sure.
Yes, I get it. Okay, well, so are you excited about the new coach at Denver?
When things go on with like coaching deals or coaching contracts and transfers and stuff and trades, I really don't care.
Yeah.
All I care is if my team's doing okay or not.
Sure. Right.
So how did you get to be a Denver fan?
How'd that happen?
I was originally a Minneapolis Colts fan, or Indianapolis Colts fan.
Sure.
With Peyton Manning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dallas
and once he moved to the Broncos,
you followed him.
So I was more of a Peyton Manning.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
And then once he went to the Broncos and retired with the Broncos, I just stuck with Broncos.
Okay.
And I think Peyton Manning is one of the class acts in the NFL. And him and Eli, the shtick that they have going on, commercials, Monday Night Football, it's amazing to watch those guys.
Yeah, they're pretty funny.
Yeah.
And Peyton was funny on Saturday Night Live many years ago, where he was like talking about shivving kids. And,
Oh yeah, the United Way commercial.
yeah, the United Way.
Oh yeah, look it up, YouTube
Yeah.
it. It's fantastic.
There was I think he did a roast too.
I'm sure.
I'm sure he did a roast as well with somebody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about your family. Who you got?
So it's a family of 4 total.
Okay.
Me, my brother, my father, and my mother.
Yep.
My parents split when I was young,
Okay.
in the early 2000s.
Sure.
They moved. Me and Alec kind of just moved back and forth every week. That was the agreement of the divorce decree or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We just lived in Waterloo schools until 3rd grade. We moved into the 4th grade. And we just stuck there in LaPorte City all that time.
Yeah.
My brother right now lives in Cedar Rapids with his girlfriend in an apartment building. It's a really nice apartment. And he's cooking at a Kirkwood hotel.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Been there.
And his girlfriend is a nurse at St. Luke's down there.
Yep.
I think.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Good for him.
My father, he works for John Deere,
All right.
so I get a lot of apparel sometimes from John Deere.
Nice.
My mother's a nurse. She works at Allen Hospital in Waterloo,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
and she's always on my keister about maybe nursing someday. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about
Good profession.
I don't know how I feel about wiping old people's butts.
Yeah, that'd be
I don't know.
Maybe a challenge. I could also see you being like the guy that is like, if you were a nurse, in say maybe an asylum where
Oh, an
people-
order. You
where
could almost
people
be like
need-
an orderly.
Put somebody in a straitjacket.
where people needed to be restrained.
Yeah.
And he'd be ideal for that. Like, listen.
No, and that's an issue because I've got and I can never talk my wife into having me committed. Just and maybe I don't know. I'm probably a little crazy, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
So here's the plan. If she ever carries through with it and signs the papers and gets me taken over, and of course, the deputies will stop and pick you up and say, "Andy,
there's a process." Yeah.
Yep. And so they'll come grab me and they'll take me over there, and I'm going to be 100% compliant. Go through the whole process.
Are you going to occasionally just shoot out some crazy stuff so that they?
No, just total silence.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And so then when we
That's
get
even crazier.
yeah, and then once we get there, it's like, all right. So I've got like 3 days till I got to go back to court. So I'm going to find the biggest guy I can, and I'm not going to like hurt him, but I'm going to attack them.
Okay.
Okay, and so just like a wrestling match and something.
That's the same rules, like in a.
Well, so you find the
asylum
biggest,
with
like a prison fight.
sure. Well, sort of. You don't. Again, I don't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
But that's why you choose the big guy, so he can kind of throw you around a little bit, and then they all jump on you and they take you in, they strap you onto a bed, and they shoot you full of juice. You sleep for 24 hours. You wake up the next day, and it's coffee and crafts, man. And then you get to talk about your feelings.
This is all a ploy just to get away from your wife.
No, I don't want to get away from my wife, but man, just sleeping for 24 hours, grand.
You really thought this through. I mean, that's quite a.
It's the nature of the business. Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen. And for those folks that absolutely do need to be committed, I wouldn't want to take up a bed for them because it is a crucial piece of our broken mental health system.
Well, that is true. And
We said we weren't going to get political, and here we are.
It is broken though.
Yes.
A lot of folks.
Oh boy.
So that's mom is you, but she's not the only one. It sounds like like you said, your brother's girlfriend is also in the medical field. What does Dad do at John Deere? What is his job there?
I think he was putting command arms on tractors,
Nice.
and at one point he was doing radiators, installing those, and I think now he's welding.
Is your dad a big dude too?
Me and him are like the same size.
Okay.
So he's probably got
yeah.
forearms that if he ever had to grab you, that you've been grabbed.
Yeah.
Because those guys that get out there and work with their hands and create the awesomeness in this country, like your dad, those dudes are the ones that they're the guys just sitting there looking at you while you're mouthing off your desk job and everything else. And if they get their hands on you, they'll crush you like a grape.
Yeah, they're like, oh, let me help you with that crazy thing there, Andy. Take care of that for you. Have you ever been to the John Deere Museum?
My grandfather used to work at John Deere too.
Okay.
On my mother's side, he was what was it called when you're a chauffeur? It's called a chauffeur.
Yeah.
He was
Sure, we'll
just-
call him a
Drives
chauffeur.
people around.
just drive people around
Oh,
the
nice.
museum and just showing the exhibits. But he was at John Deere. I don't know what the timeline was with that.
Long
but,
time.
But he got the the really good contract.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
So he got like free lunch breaks or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
Really good medical stuff, benefits.
There's a lot of employees in the
Open
Waterloo Cedar Falls area, in that whole area there with John Deere. John Deere might be probably the largest employer in town over there. It certainly is. They got the
Surprising
foundry
if it
and all of that. Just a huge complex. There is a John Deere museum, which I keep intending to go to. It's right next to the old factory. They got two great big buildings there. One of them is a hotel, and they're renovating the other one too. So
Yeah.
I just wondered if you'd ever seen that or not. Maybe you could tell me about it, and then I'll keep it on my list to go there.
I guess tractors was never amusing to me.
Yeah.
Like my dad would bring home the things like toys you keep in boxes.
Oh,
just to
yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Like why are you giving me this? Like I don't care about
Right.
these things.
What do you care about? What kind of toys did you like?
Anything involving Spider-Man
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
or maybe just playing video games.
Mm-hmm.
Never really and there was a moment where I did enjoy like wrestling figures.
Okay. Yeah.
Just something I just grew out of.
Did you
WWE?
have like a wrestling the little
No,
ring?
I was too poor for that.
Yeah. Were you? Okay. All right. Well.
Thanks for digging that up, Troy.
I'm sorry.
Troy's like, I got 3 of them.
My
in
kids
the
do have
basement.
that. Sorry, the
No, I get it.
spoiled,
You're trying to
rotten
make fun
little
of my
brats.
financial insecurities.
Yeah, I didn't have a wrestling ring. Yeah, but my kids did that too. They loved those wrestling things, and they would. And Jack, he would like conduct tournaments. I don't know how he had it figured out, but he would score it somehow.
Okay. I had girls.
What other sports did you play in high school? You didn't have a wrestling ring? Come on, man.
No.
I wrestled. I didn't do track. I did
Okay.
that in middle school. I did baseball freshman year, but the coaches, I just couldn't stand the coaches. It was probably their philosophy that I just couldn't wrap my head around. And football, obviously.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was pretty much it.
What was your nickname in high school?
Did you have one?
I saw some picture of you like going through, and I was going through some of their archive stuff, and there was a picture of you like at a camp.
Oh yeah, Illinois Wesleyan football camp,
Yep.
line camp.
Yep.
Yep.
And so, but it's like I was looking at the names, and there was something that they wrote that would be in the place of where you were at that wasn't your name, and I can't remember what it was. It wasn't anything that stood out or anything like you know.
And Coach Paul Alexander, the
Yeah.
line coach at Cincinnati, he was there hosting
Nice.
it. And he actually put me on his Twitter page, but he got the name of my town incorrect.
Oh no.
I think he wrote LaPorte or something.
Oh, LaPorte, Iowa.
He made it Spanish instead of French.
Yeah, something happened there.
Well, I mean,
Some
LaPorte
miscommunication.
Yeah.
is Spanish for the port,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
or La Puerta.
Yeah. And what about Spanish? And French. That's the same thing.
I have no idea.
Yeah, we don't know, do
Don't
we?
speak French.
LaPorte.
Do you speak any foreign languages, Liam?
Yeah, do you speak any
I
smart guy?
know a little bit of German,
Oh.
Oh,
but it's probably going to be broken.
Yeah.
So I'm
Well-
not going to attempt.
no, okay.
All right.
And you could say almost anything in German. I'd be like, that's amazing. Because I tried doing what was it, Babbel or something like that, where
I
you
don't
could
know.
learn. And and then they started wanting me to pay for it. And I'm like, well, this is crazy.
Well, I'm not going to get
$3?
learn. Yeah.
I mean, exactly. I got
Babbel is a thing like that.
Yeah.
I could probably follow along in German. I dated a German exchange student when I was in high school and carried on. They had German at Waldorf when I went there, so I had about 3 or 4 years of German. It's been a long time. Those are perishable skills, though. I feel like I could get along if I needed to. Drop me in there.
Like riding a bike again.
I guess so. It'd be like a German bike.
Yeah.
BMW.
Probably very efficient, comfortable ride. Not quite sure if it's legitimately manufactured or not, but that's, for sure.
Yeah.
Now I'm learning Norwegian for no reason whatsoever, and that's a different app.
Well, you're Norwegian.
Well, there is that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
So-
your heritage
Yeah,
is
so
Norwegian.
I'll be able to communicate with my relatives in the future.
You can go back.
Yeah.
So do you know your lineage?
Yeah,
Like,
what's
are
that?
you German or are you
Straight Irish.
straight Irish?
Like when my beard is full,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see a tinge
And the
of red.
picture on the
Tinge.
A tinge of
It's
red.
beyond
Oh.
a tinge, my friend.
yeah, there's
Because-
a picture on the football homepage there.
Like
the
when
roster
when
has
it
it.
shines in light, you can definitely see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well, we're coming up on St.
even
Patrick's Day here.
yeah, and even your hair
Another month.
has got a little red to it. It's mostly blonde, but there is a little bit of strawberry in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all Irish.
Yeah, Irish is great.
Is.
That's we got a
I think
little.
on my mom's side, it's like Czechoslovakian and Bohemian. All those
Oh,
Wow.
a little Czech Irish. Do you feel poetic at times where you're just like kind of waxing poetic and you're just saying, "Hey," blaming the English
don't
for all
write
your
poems?
problems?
No, that's not my thing. Poems were not one of my hobbies.
A little geopolitical humor there.
What is your hobby?
Yeah, what is your hobby?
You brought it up.
Just playing video games and playing football.
Well, you keep mentioning video games, but you haven't specified which ones.
Oh,
Like we would know anyway. We were talking
You
about
could say most
Pac-Man,
anything.
perhaps.
Yeah, Donkey Kong.
Mm-hmm.
No,
no.
What games do you play, Liam?
I hope you say
It's a
that.
wide range.
The farming
I'm not really
simulator.
too picky.
No.
I play the shooters, the first person, the
Okay.
Call of Duty, stuff like that.
third persons.
Okay.
Doesn't really matter. I don't have a really big preference.
Mm-hmm.
Are you getting into esports?
No,
Okay.
I just don't have much time.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
With football, it's kind of hard to find time, especially we're having a job now at Hy-Vee.
oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're a
Right.
helpful smile.
Yep. I work in the market grill,
I knew it.
Nice.
cooking breakfast for the old folks that come in the morning.
Nice.
I'm gonna stop by there and get a. I don't know what's your specialty.
So the specials switch out every
No. What are you good at?
Yeah. What are you? Yeah. That's.
I don't care what.
Yeah.
what the food I
He's
make.
very competent.
like
I've
if-
seen him come out of the kitchen and
Yeah?
and yeah, I've seen you out there. Yeah.
What I like to cook, the thing that I really like cooking is a breakfast burrito.
Yeah.
Really, really yummy.
Okay. So is that your go-to at home or?
At home, I generally don't like to cook for myself because I'd rather be resting.
Mm,
Because when you're up all day,
Yeah.
you feel the blood pulling in your ankles. You kind of just want to lay down,
yeah, I get it.
and then you just
So
relax.
that's something we ask a lot of players that, granted college is a time to be away from home and everybody's got that go-to, like, hey, I'm coming home for Christmas and the family says, what do you want me to make? What's your,
When I go home,
Yeah.
like for a special occasion, I
Yeah.
always beg my father to make a bacon cheese ball. It's literally
Really?
cream cheese with like bacon bits covering the
nice.
top of it. It has like green onion.
You did it on crackers or you just plow into
Ritz,
it with
Ritz
a,
crackers.
Okay.
That's pretty much it with Ritz crackers.
I feel
most-
like club crackers would be better with that.
Cream cheese, bacon,
Green onion
and green onion.
and probably some garlic.
A diabetic's wet dream.
Nice. Delicious.
I love it. Yeah, that sounds really, really, really good.
When you're sitting in the, we're talking a little bit about our locker room,
Yeah.
and we were talking about with Aune and whatnot. But you guys, you're on the front line. You guys are a little bigger than some of the skill players. So Andy and I were trying to figure out how much room do you think you need? What would be nice as you're sitting on the bench in front of your locker?
Dude, we're like packed like sardines in there.
Yes, you
Like
are.
I just start sweating because
We're gonna have to talk about that.
Yeah.
Aren't we?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind if it was like spaced out, like one locker, you had like a locker that was just empty right next to you. Like that'd probably
Yeah.
be fine. But when you have a lot of people on the roster, you probably can't really.
Yeah,
Well, and it's interesting because
we're gonna work on that.
where his locker was located,
Mm-hmm.
if you start on the end, you got Skin and Bones Nolan Frowine. He's probably 215, and he's the smallest in that line because then it's Cade Kloster Hodak,
Mm-hmm.
Logan Miller,
It was
Mays,
Yep, Mays, one of the Mays brothers.
and then was it you after that?
Me, and then I think Antoine was over there.
Well, Jalen.
Jalen, yep.
It was Jalen, and then on the end was
Caesar.
Caesar.
Caesar
Yep.
Rodriguez.
Yep. And so with Nolan Frowine was probably the smallest. And again, 215, 6'4", 6'5", at least something like that. And he's the tiny one.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have these 18-inch lockers and we're packing a lot of size. And then right across the little aisle there is more offensive linemen.
Okay. Yeah,
Now,
that's right.
Some of those guys got lucky and a few people dropped out, so they had some room.
Mm-hmm.
But there wasn't much.
Yeah.
It wasn't much.
So we need to double that space and figure out a way to make that happen for you. Mm-hmm. Not just for
How
you,
can
for
you
everybody.
do that with like that? You just extend the building, or
I mean,
know.
that's one solution. There is some space in the middle that we found.
Reimagine it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Troy and I have taken a look, and Troy is.
We'll promote it next week a little bit more, but
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're gonna look at working with the university and figuring out a way to do it economically to make it 10 times better.
Can we talk about the ownership change?
Yeah, you can talk about whatever you want.
Yeah, this is your show, man.
What does that how does that affect the football program?
It really shouldn't. You won't see anything. So what has to happen, from what I understand, is that it opens up more funding opportunities for the students. We have to go through a 12-month period of this.
Yeah, you'll benefit from that.
Yes. So in that 12-month period, things like the Iowa tuition grant that you kids only get 50% of that because we were the private for-profit, but we have to go through that 12-month period. Mm-hmm. It opens up more of the federal funding because we are a not-for-profit private institution. So from the football program, you're not going to see any difference. Okay. What you do on a daily basis, that's not going to change. You're still going to go to the weight room. You're still going to do well in school. You're still going to have the same expectations. That doesn't change anything with equipment. And Troy and I will have conversations about that from the Gridiron Club perspective. And if you're not familiar, the Gridiron Club is a nonprofit organization, 501c3 organized, so that if people give donations.
Hey, I want to say thank you to the Gridiron Club for giving those hats out that one.
I saw you brought yours with you.
Yes, I did actually.
Yeah.
It's on the ground right now.
Yeah, it's so the Gridiron Club bought close to the end of the season when the guys are going to be out there warming up and stuff. So boom. Coach Finley ordered a bunch of those so that they didn't freeze their shaved melons off like Liam's got here.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's
I went
important.
straight diabetic Walter White. The goatee.
Yeah. So, because Liam, the last time I saw him, had longer curly hair.
Yeah.
And what was the story that you were telling us before we started?
Yeah.
Oh, with the shaved head?
Yeah.
I was trying to trim it because I work right at this Hy-Vee job, and usually you don't want hair in your food.
Not usually.
Yeah.
So I tried to trim it with a guard.
Yeah.
And then I took the guard off to like clean up my neck, and I just forgot to put the guard back on.
Yeah. And now you have it's a very even haircut all over.
Looks great.
It's all one size.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I cut my own hair.
So do I.
I'm sure you do.
Nobody's surprised by that. They're like, "Oh, did you do that yourself?"
Yeah, and I mean, when haircuts got up to like $10 a time, I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, Kurt, I love you, buddy. Up is a barber uptown, and but man, that's way out of my price range.
That's how long you've been away from pro since Kurt retired.
Yeah. Yep. So I learned how to do it myself with guards.
Yeah.
And my wife every few years buys me a new one, and it's kind of nice.
I went with Kurt's protege, Ron, and then he retired.
Oh, Ron was my first. So,
here we go.
His first love.
Yes.
Well, and I'll tell you what, there's something to be said about that because barbers, it's like, if you cut my hair right, I'm going to keep coming back.
You're going to keep coming back.
Yeah. What was it? Sheldon Cooper had his haircut file. When his
I never watched that show.
Oh,
but that makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, The Big Bang Theory or whatever.
Yeah. His barber was sick and was in the hospital, and so
you got to go.
He had to go over.
I did feel like I was cheating if I did go to say if I was in Des Moines. I was like, I just got to get I got a meeting. I'm going to get a better haircut.
Right.
It's been a while, and then I was like, Ron's gonna know. I'm gonna.
One of the most fun barber experiences was when I lived in Maryville, Missouri. There was a gentleman whose name was Forrest. He cut hair in the military. That was his career in the military. And when you walked into his barbershop, there were rules. If you were one of the patrons that was going to get a haircut, you sat on the back wall. And in order of your arrival, if you brought someone with you, they sat down on the end across from you. And there was and so then as soon as he got done with the haircut, seat number one gets up, goes over and stands next to the chair. Everyone else gets up, moves one seat over, and gets down. And woe to the human being that doesn't do that. hey, you need to move, all of you. And if there was a space in there,
coordination there, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, military.
Probably mess with
precision.
his OCD or something.
That is how it is. He probably was spent his life at Fort Leonard Wood cutting hair on basic trainings, and that is one of the, boy, you think your haircut is, I mean, can I get even small? I can get even closer than that. And that's just, that's a real eye opener for some folks there. Yeah.
Sure is.
Yeah. That's probably what he enjoyed there.
So what's,
but do you remember Stripes? Ever seen the movie Stripes? Have you seen that? You'd like it.
Yep.
Andy and the Stripes, when they get their haircut, John Candy comes out and he's holding all his hair. And then all these guys are like holding, they have no hair. They're all rubbing their head. And then Bill Murray and, Ramos or whatever came out.
Harold Ramis.
Yeah, they still.
I'm told
they still have hair, like normal hair. They just, you can get a normal haircut.
I think the video that I was watching, that was his genuine reaction because they did not know they were going to.
That's right. Yes, you're correct. Yeah, that's right. They did not
know they were going to get their head shaved.
Catch.
Like that.
You're absolutely
that was their genuine reaction to losing their hair like that. And of course, Bill Murray being a big name in the Hollywood.
He didn't have to get his hair. Yeah, so everybody's kind of looking at him. Yeah. Well, there you go.
So you've been in town almost a year. Well, no, over a year now.
Yep.
That you came up here for the spring semester. How are you finding Forest City and Waldorf University? You're an Iowa kid, so
it's just like my home.
Yeah.
Not a lot of big franchises around. Just small town Iowa.
Yeah, got to drive a little bit further to get to those franchises.
Yeah,
but it's just one of those
Mason
deals.
City and Clear Lake.
Do you go home a lot? Do you drop down to LaPorte?
When gas is expensive, you don't usually want to travel that much.
Right.
So
yeah. So
but do you go home for the summer or do you stay up here?
I do go home for the summer to work.
Yeah.
But on even special occasions I go home.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I'm going to go home for very long for spring break because I still have that job here.
When's that coming up?
That is March 6th.
Right before spring ball.
Weeks, yeah.
Yeah. And go home, get rested, and make sure you're working out.
Do you know who you're playing for spring ball? Do we know that, Andy? Because last year we brought up.
Don't know.
Last spring ball, we just scrimmaged each other.
Oh, that is correct. What was I thinking? Oh, I know what I was thinking. It was like it was not a game. It was a scrimmage at the beginning of the season this past year.
Yeah, that was.
Iowa Central.
Iowa Central.
That was one of the teams we played at Ellsworth. So seeing those guys was just like, it's like, why am I seeing you again?
Oh, you knew some of those guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not personally, but
yeah, you've met them before.
You've heard the names before.
Yeah.
Yep. So the Waldorf experience as far as football, how's that been going for you? And how does it differ much from your JUCO experience?
Culturally, like there seems to be more of a substantial endearment to wanting to be close with your peers.
Mm-hmm.
With Ellsworth, it wasn't like that. It was I want to do my time and get the hell out and go to a D1 school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here, you're kind of like here for a career, right?
Yeah.
Trying to get your major done.
Yep.
And you're with your guys. It's kind of like a home.
Yeah.
So, yeah, culturally, it's a lot better.
What's your favorite part so far?
Yeah, I like that.
Favorite part is just, being around buddies.
Yeah. So is it mostly O linemen you hang out with, or you got any skill buddies?
I'll talk to anybody.
Yeah.
But I generally like to stick around with, the O line.
Yeah. Well, they get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they understand it. So, we were warned, and for those of you that have listened to prior episodes, and particularly the one with Coach Aune, Liam, your name was mentioned very specifically. He was just talking about that you're a unique group of individuals. What is some of your thoughts and your perception of Coach Aune?
Yeah, you've kept it very professional.
Coach Aune.
Yeah.
Yep.
He knows what he's talking about. He's very, very fundamental. He wants, things to be perfection almost.
Right.
But you're never going to be perfectionist. You're always going to have that slight possibility of error.
Yep.
And he always makes sure that that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Also another thing that I just really love about is he's very articulate.
Yeah.
Smart dude, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. And he's got high football IQ as well.
Yes.
And I think that both he and Coach Paramore are working so close together because there's a bond there. And I know that you've seen it, Liam, and Troy, I'm sure you've seen it as well. I know I have. And, those two are, that's a brother from another mother.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you,
they latched onto each other pretty quick at the beginning of last season.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Came in together, just not too far apart. And they're kind of joined at the hip.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
It's good to have that type of relationship when you've got your offensive line coach that is, right there, and a good working relationship with the head coach, who was and still is, really coordinating that offense. So,
some would call it a bromance.
Yeah. Well, I think Coach Aune has, via Paramore's admission, said that he has kind of the skills that Paramore lacks when it comes to like fixing things around the house.
I believe it.
Yeah.
They got like a platonic thing going on.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Anie's got a truck. He's got a toolbox. He knows how to fix things. It's all pretty good. And that's good. And it just goes to show that, the lineman continues to serve and in all capacities. We've often said, and I think it's true, that, linemen make good dads and husbands, and they make, good friends and whatever. And it's because of that
mentality.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to be in the newspaper for what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That thankless. Yeah. That selflessness, that thanklessness.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and we talked about it with Aune that, the only time that you guys ever get mentions during a game is if they catch a holding.
Yeah, that's right. But we already know from you that she's like, hey, don't raise my hands. Like, I'm not going to bring attention to myself, Yeah.
Usually when you bring your hands up, that's usually when the refs see, it's just an indicator.
Yeah.
So when somebody new comes in, you got freshmen, you got some recruits coming in again this year, and how do you make those guys feel welcome?
My job when I meet new people is to make them uncomfortable as possible.
I love it.
Because once they get comfortable with you, they get,
right.
It's easier to have that relationship.
How do you do that?
Oh, I think I
just
know
like
this story.
just saying weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just being like overtly just like really like nice or just saying weird things.
Do you have a go-to that you can talk about?
Probably not.
Okay. These are men in the locker room. We're not talking about, you're not talking about high school boys, but these high school boys come walking through. It's like, oh, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause they bring recruits on game day, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then everybody's in the locker room and
I feel bad for those moms that like come visit on visitation day.
Cause they can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't go in that men's locker room.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff going on.
Maybe some of those moms are interested. I don't know.
I don't know. I've never asked.
Yeah.
And it's not my
I bet some of them are. Do you ever interact with those guys at all, the high school
I'm
kids?
more focused on getting prepped for the game.
Yeah, of course.
It's a lot of the underclassmen that, they'll pick a few, like, he ended up earning a dress uniform at the end of the season, but Sam Jeffrey, I've mentioned him before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a lot of those kids that are just great with the recruits, used to talking to him, getting him there, telling him what it's about and stuff like that. So do you ever have an opportunity to talk to some of these kids and tell them why they should even think about Waldorf?
Well, it depends on like what they are seeking.
Right.
For themselves. Because sometimes, all colleges are not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm never going to hold it against somebody if they don't want to be here.
Right.
Because that's your decision.
100% true.
And, if you leave and it's not going to, hurt me or benefit me in any way possible. So
yeah, you're going to do your thing.
Just going to do my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
so,
right.
So you guys as a group this year, and again, we talked about it with Coach Aune, that you guys got pretty banged up like early in the season and had to grind through real hard.
I know Ferris State, I hyperextended that knee. I know Logan Miller was struggling with a shoulder problem and fingers. Yep. His fingers were messed up. Hodak, his shoulder was messed up too.
Yep.
Gavin was had some knee problems.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think Throne had a knee.
Throne knee too, yep. So
he's
three knees and two shoulders and a finger.
Wasn't Throne like 32 last year?
32 years old.
32 years old.
He's a super duper senior.
Yeah, he came back. Yeah. Guess who's back?
Yeah, 14 years senior.
Grandpa Throne, yeah.
Yeah, everybody called him Grandpa. But I tell you what a team leader.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And that's got to be so valuable for you as well to see somebody like Zach and his demeanor, the way that he carried himself on the field during the game and practices and stuff like that. That's got to be pivotal for you guys.
So his personality is being like, very serious.
Yeah.
and always trying to be a team leader, and you have me right next to him, and I'm always messing with him, trying to like see if that eggshell would just crack. And sometimes I get him, and he like at practice he'd like hit me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Trying to keep the youngsters in line.
What do you least like to see across from you, and what do you love to see?
Personally, when I see a D lineman, their play style, more aggressive play style, obviously you don't want that because it kind of like you have to match that.
Right.
And it's a little harder for you. But when you see him playing a little more passive, has an easier time of, maybe getting him on his back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're going to own him.
But you just got to set that thing at the beginning. Let him know what this game is going to be like.
Right.
Sometimes, I get a head full of steam and they just olay me.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
Just laying on your stomach.
Let you go right on through. Yeah.
That didn't work.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just,
Yep.
Is there a part of the football field or a particular down? I mean, there might be obvious answers that you are.
Short situations.
Yeah.
Just, getting lower.
Yeah.
QB sneaks.
Yep. Love it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, that's the fundamentals of what you do is putting bodies on bodies every play. There's, aside from the offensive line, there's not a lot of positions that are going man on man
every time.
Every time that ball is snapped.
In that way.
You're always touching somebody when you're offensive lineman.
Yep.
Yeah. And no respite. Like you're not coming off the field. If you're a running back or a receiver, you'll come in and out in the same series. Yep. And then the line.
Granted, they do run a little further.
They do.
Oh,
yeah.
A little faster too.
Yeah. But like on defense, the corner's not coming out.
But for O-line, it's just short and repetitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the time.
That's why your body gets so messed up. It's very repetitive.
Yep. So now Coach Finley, he's moving on,
Which I'm happy for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Good for him, and we love Will and Callie and the boys, and wish him nothing but the best. But so not that Finley ever did anything wrong, but Paramore has a different mindset on some of the things that you guys are doing. What are you seeing from that small change?
His philosophy with attitude and effort equals. What was his philosophy with the equal?
We're A plus E equals P. So if we'll have a good attitude and we'll have good effort, then we're going to see progress. And the beautiful thing about that is you can take that and apply that in the weight room. You can apply that on the field, but you can also apply that in every other aspect of your life.
Just having a solid grounding and a great philosophy is all you really need.
Yep. And he's holding you guys to that.
Yeah. And keeping people accountable.
Yeah.
We need accountability, especially when we have some guys, won't name names, just not going to weights, not going to class, having 70 absences.
Yeah.
That's unexcusable.
Yeah, we talked about that with Coach Gould last week, and just had that conversation about, you had, like you said, 70, and I think 70 was the number. I don't know if the listeners picked up on that, but 70 was the number because that's how many absences they had in like 2 or 3 weeks or something like that, and a certain number of players. It is a very small number of the same violators, and those, so hopefully as a team you can correct that. But then there's probably some, those people can be replaced too. Like that's the other thing about being a part of a team, is that this is a competition to win. To make you the best that you can be so that you can accomplish that one goal together. And so if somebody's not pulling their weight, what do you do?
Especially when you had a goal like last season. Obviously, we couldn't pull it out, which was very disappointing. Just get in that conference ring.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we hit the reset button.
Yep.
When Finley was still here, that first team meeting after you guys came back from break, and everybody's in the room seeing each other, saying hi, and it was great to see all the kids. And Coach Paramore walked through, and this is before we knew anything about Will even. And he said, and he kind of pulls me outside and said, if we keep everybody in this room eligible, there's nothing we can't do.
Yeah, there you go.
That is so very, very crucial. And like I even saw on the band app, that's what you guys use for group communication. Was it Josh Mitchell that put it out there like, hey guys, let's get together as a team. Let's hold each other accountable. Let's make sure if you have class with somebody that you give them a shout like, hey, we got class today. I'll help wake you up, stuff like that.
When you're an individual and you have a roster of 100 folks, it's kind of hard to, make sure people are doing what they're supposed to.
Understand.
But when you have a platoon, like how we have it set
There you
up
go.
for lifting, that is more manageable.
Yes. Well, that is correct. That's what I was going to say. I like the military aspect of that. You don't put, it's not one person is not in charge of 150 people, 130 people. You should be in charge in a group with the same amount of people that you can share a pizza with, which I realize for the lineman could be back to the individual,
Yeah.
but
That is why I got so disgruntled when we did our punishments.
Yep.
For the 70 absences, because I can't keep all those guys accountable. I have to worry about myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I have to make sure that I'm getting my things done that I need to get done.
Yeah. But that's a reality of the situation. It's like, we're gonna win together and we're gonna lose together.
when you see, and I tell you what, it takes a while to get through. So to your point, Liam, is that, what you're putting yourself through because of what someone else has done, the only thing that you can do when you're a part of a team is to give it your best and hope that that person understands, or those persons understand the what they're doing to their teammates. And honestly, a lot of times that doesn't happen the first time. It might have to be on the second, third, or how many times do I
Might
forgive
take
my brother?
multiple corrections to finally get the idea.
But staying in contact with each other and staying supportive of each other and holding each other accountable, that is how you get that conference ring. And that includes when classes end and you head home, staying in touch with each other. And you can't stay in touch. You're not going to stay in touch with everybody on the team. You're going to stay in touch with your group and making sure that you guys are doing what you're supposed to be doing in the off season.
Especially with your position groups.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't think there's any mystery that Coach Paramore is very clear about the expectations of all 130 people on this team, that you will do these things or you will not be part of the 130.
Yep.
I mean, so it's no mystery to anybody that when everybody's getting in trouble and you're looking over at the dude that might be mainly responsible, it's like that's got to feel like crap for them. Hopefully it does. Hopefully they're not like, well, I earned
And I understand, there's some people that football's not for them.
Yeah.
And if they need to.
Well, in college, like you said, I mean, college isn't necessarily for everybody either. Whether it's this college or maybe any college.
Yeah.
That is also true. Yeah.
Yeah, but the reality is it's one of those things that college football doesn't happen on 8 to 12 Saturdays in the fall. College football happens
right now
6 or 7 days a week throughout pretty much the entire year. I mean, because when you go home, you're still going to be held accountable by your coaches and by your teammates. Like, did you get your lift in today?
So it's really easy. So what I suggest when you're postseason or off-season lifting, you need to find somebody else, like a gym partner, to lift with, because they can keep you accountable.
For sure.
Like me and Luke Byer, we have a thing. I drive to Vinton.
Yep.
And we lift.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a great idea, because you're right, that accountability part. Yeah. It's really easy if you're just by yourself to give yourself a day off that turns into a week off that turns into
every consecutive day off is harder to get back on to day one.
Yep.
For sure. Yeah. So you're a video game guy. You hang out with your buddy. Are you living on campus?
Yes, I live in Tanner.
You live in Tanner. Okay, north or south?
North side.
North side. Okay, that's the girls' side.
Yeah, in our day, like we said in one time. Yeah, I was South Tanner guy, first floor, and
Do you have a bachelor suite or do you have a roommate?
So what happened was, my roommate was here last year in the fall.
Yep.
But he decided not to come back.
Okay.
So I just upgraded to a single.
Nice. So that's got to be sort of nice, but sometimes it's nice to have. But again, there's so many people around, and is there a lot of players on your floor?
A lot of hockey players, and and I think wrestlers.
Okay.
But I think the only other football players is Sam Christensen and Dawson and Artie Morales.
Okay, very nice. So then, other than video games, you do anything else in your spare time? Well, work at Hy-Vee.
Work at Hy-Vee, relax, lay in bed, and just watch YouTube or watch Netflix or whatever streaming service is available.
What are you watching on Netflix? Anything good?
I was watching The Walking Dead because I wanted to revisit that because I remember my dad's side, my dad and I and Alec used to literally every Sunday we would anticipate The Walking Dead, right?
Yeah.
We'd watch that. I think it broadcasted really late at night. And then right after we watched Walking Dead, we'd go to bed because I remember this very vividly. But I would just want to, revisit it.
Mm-hmm.
Just,
Yeah, that's fun.
Just to remember
what
I watched. And I guess I'm also doing another series. It's animated.
Okay.
It's also based upon another video game that I played.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very futuristic, like metropolitan, like video game where it's basically like you're in a gang and you're basically trying to become the ultimate, or I don't want to say gangbanger, but you're trying to be like trying to go down in history as one of the best cyberpunks because since it's futuristic, you can like do mechanical implants into your body to make you more enhanced.
Oh, it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine football then.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Would it even be fun anymore?
No.
I don't know.
Would it even be fun to watch if everybody is not natural?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's all about programming at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. I just read an article recently on a Substack about how America needs football.
Yes, we do.
It's probably a good way to wrap up on all of this, but get your thoughts on this. I can't give credit right now to who it is, but the article was very good, and it was released on the day of the Super Bowl, and the concept is simply this, that America needs football because we have a need for violence that we need to witness if we can't do it ourselves in the way that the guy's argument is that, that men need to be men in some cases, and some of that means that you have to be able to, to fight or at least present the image of fight or compete.
Present that masculine traits.
Yeah, and he's saying, well, thank God we don't have as many wars, and so on and so forth. And if you understand, history, that football came about because, the Civil War vets were afraid that their boys were going to grow up having never killed a man, so they wanted to play. They invented football, and the argument, the article's quite a bit longer than that, but that was the basic premise, that America actually needs football, whereas there are people that are saying that football is unnecessary, that it's coming to an end, that we don't, that it's living in the past.
False.
And I agree. I think that is absolutely untrue.
Obviously, CTE is a big issue,
Of course it is.
but it's also they understand the circumstances of the consequences that they are putting themselves through.
Right, but there's also protocols out there. It's like if you take a big hit, and granted you're getting hit every time, but at the same time, if somebody takes a big hit, we don't go, whew, well, rub some butter on it, get back out there, you'll be just fine.
We get excited when you hear that crack, and because we know what it means. It's, but and so with that, and I'm going to throw out a statistic that's completely unverified. Nobody cared when we had all those hooks being created because people were losing their hands in corn pickers, and that was also a choice. They could be on a farm. How many old time farmers are out there with one hand because the corn picker got the other one?
2 fingers.
Well, that's not the same. It's not the brain. I guess I'm not making an argument for CTE. That's not what I'm coming at. So I'm not for that.
No,
but I am for competition. I am for controlled violence, and I am for the training and the spirit that it takes to be willing to put yourself through all that. So 94% of the people that have had injuries associated with football, like serious injuries, 94% said that they would
do it again.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, it's football. A friend of mine, he coached at the high school level a little bit, and we were talking about football one day, and he said it best. Football is a violent game for violent men. There has to be a level of violence in everything that you do every time that ball is snapped. It's not just, it's exerting your will through, and violence has a bad connotation, but it is a violent act. 2 human bodies, big dudes, slamming up against each other or pushing them down or doing whatever you have to do. That in and of itself is a violent act. However, it's controlled, it's coached, the technique keeps it as safe as you possibly can.
Same thing with tackling.
Yes.
You don't put your head across.
No.
You always tack the back hip.
Yep.
Which is an alternative change, so you don't include your head into the tackle and having potential neck injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're on the front line, literally, of that particular type of violence, and that is the old school, like that's where the battle's really at. It always has been. Football's a game of inches. It's about land. It's a land battle. So I appreciate what you do, Liam. I think that Coach Aune has a lot of respect for you, but he completely undersold your.
He missed the mark.
Yeah, I said
he's like, well, you're not going to be able to use any of this, and
I think he was being funny, but
Yep.
You probably do. You're very good at being controlled.
It's just like your environment. You have to be able to
speak to your audience.
Your filter.
Yep.
You gotta just have a filter sometimes.
Read the room.
That's right. Well, he was making us think that you didn't have a filter, but you've proven over and over again that not only are you incredibly tough, very strong, and competent, but obviously very intelligent, and you have a pretty good filter and a good head on your shoulders. So, wish you the absolute best in the upcoming season. Can't wait to see you play. Look forward to it. The only time I get to say your number is either if you do hold, and usually I leave that to the referee, or if they introduce the offense.
Yeah. False start, number 79.
Yes.
Offense.
Yeah. So every other game at home, we announce
5-yard penalty.
Offense. So
repeat second down.
Yep.
Damn it.
Yeah. Well, we announce the offense every game, but
that's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Liam, I want to thank you for being here, and with that, we want to give you the parting word. You got anything for us?
Lineman prayer.
What is that?
Go for it.
You ever heard of the lineman prayer?
No, let's hear it.
We work the hardest. We're known the least, but who cares? Because we are the reason.
Very nice. I hadn't heard that before.
That's pretty good.
I love it.
I actually wanted to start doing that before pre-games, like just say that, because we used to do that in high school.
So do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing-
I might incorporate that.
Yep. Nothing's going to stop you. Gentlemen, gather round.
That's right.
I got something to say.
I like it.
Well, good. Well, Liam, it's been a pleasure, and just to get to, for our listeners, both of them, we always say that, I don't know, a few hundred people probably. Thanks for just sharing a little bit about yourself, talking openly and honestly, and proving Coach Aune wrong. That again, the locker room and team meetings and stuff is a different culture entirely than going on a G-rated or a PG-rated podcast. So, I thank you for your time. And
appreciate you guys having me here.
No, it's awesome. I hope it was fun. I mean, it was, and so we'll continue to have players on next week. I think after this episode with featuring Liam, we're going to talk a little bit about gridiron hopes and dreams. So make sure you tune into that as well. And with that, I want to thank everyone for listening to this episode of the Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast. For Troy Thompson, this is Andy Buffington, and forever and always, go Warriors. You can join the Waldorf Gridiron Club today by sending a check to the Waldorf Gridiron Club, P.O. Box 125, Forest City, Iowa, 50436.
Or message us by visiting and like our Facebook page, Waldorf Gridiron Club, or email us at waldorfgridironclub@gmail.com.
Or it's as easy as clicking on the Support the Show link on your phone. Become a patron of the Gridiron Club by choosing to support the program monthly. $100 is the black membership at $9 a month.
The $250 level is purple at $25 a month.
$500 is the Warrior membership at $45 a month.
The all-conference level is $750 or $65 a month.
$1,000 is the All-American membership at $85 a month.
The champion level is $125 a month, and that's $1,500 a year.
$2,500 is the Hall of Fame membership.
The Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast is hosted by Andy Buffington and me, Troy Thompson. Produced by Sunnyside Farmstead Studios in beautiful rural Forest City, Iowa. The music is by Christian Leo. The Waldorf Gridiron Club is a nonprofit 501c3 organization dedicated to the football student athletes of Waldorf University. Our mission is to assist the program in maintaining the best small college football experience in America.